Alrighty, so increasing and decreasing. Increasing is how you make your creation bigger, and then decreasing is how do you make it smaller. With this magic ring we just have made, we're going to be grabbing a stitch marker. So I'm going to be kind of explaining the terminology as we go. But of course, we have our stitch marker, which I'm going to be using just a C-clip. So this is obviously just a normal C-clip. This just helps mark how many rows you've done. So it's basically just a row marker. You're just going to grab and put it on the band, like so. So now we have marked where our row ends. We can start to increase. So pink will be increasing. So as we increase, it's basically just doing a slip knot into each stitch twice. So that's increasing. You'll understand later as I go through it now. So again, we're going to grab our hook, we have our stitch marker on, and we're going to go through. So basically, this is when these stitches, as I explained previously, the V or the chain right here, if you pull both sides up, so both sides up like this, there's going to be a hole. Just like there's a hole in a chain. So you're going to grab your hook first, and you're going to go through these two bands. So remember, try to zoom in, but here are the two bands on each side, and this is the chain. So you're going to grab both sides and make sure that you put your hook through point first by going down and hooking through like that into both the sides. So now you have two bands on your hook right now. So there's 1, 2, 3. Okay, so now what we're going to be doing is this is basically going to become the magic ring. And you're going to grab your hook and your band, you're going to slip knot it, and you're going to go through. So go through again. We got to this scenario, so we're going to put our over onto the hook. So now we have both like so. And now we are going to slip knot this one band through two band. So you're going to grab and slip knot it through both. So now, of course, this is where the slip knot, as you can see from this pink color, this is where I slip knot it into this stitch right here, the first stitch. So of course this is going to become the magic ring, as I've said so many times, and this is when we actually go back through. So because we're increasing, if we weren't increasing we would just go into the next stitch, but because we're increasing we have to make two slip knots in one stitch. So you're going to grab this, go through the stitch, so pretend this is the magic ring, we have to go back through it, back through the stitch or back through the chain. The same one, remember the same one, and grab one band, you're going to put it on your hook, going to slip knot it through just as we did before. Go to this scenario and put it back on your hook, 1 into 2, remember, 1 band into 2 band. I'm going to slip knot it like so. So now we have, as you can see, 2 stitches, 1, 2 slip knots in the same stitch right here. So as you can see, there's the circle, just like the magic ring, but it's just the stitch. And there's 1, 2 in there. So we're going to go ahead and do it again. So you're going to have your band like this, and you're going to put it through the next stitch. And the next stitch starts where the first V ends and the next V starts. So you're going to slip knot it through, grab one band, put it on, pull it through, this band on the hook, grab the first band into the 2 bands. So first into the 2. And of course we've done 1 slip knot, so we've got to do another, because again increasing is when you do 2 slip knots in the same stitch. So you're going to grab one band, hook it on, slip knot it through, put this back on the hook, 1 into 2, slip knot it. And as you can see, we're starting to increase because there's 2 in each stitch. And we're going to go to the next stitch again, 1 band, slip knot it, this back on the hook, 1 into 2. Same stitch, go through it just like you would do a magic ring, slip knot the band through, put it back on the hook, slip 1 into 2. So that's 2 in the same stitch. You're going to go to the next stitch, slip 1, like that, 1 into 2, do that again, and the same exact stitch, 1 like that, put this back on the hook, 1 into 2. Now we have 2 more stitches, grab one band, slip knot into that stitch, 1 into 2, same stitch, slip knot it back on the hook, 1 through 2, last stitch, going to go through it 2 times, slip knot it, 1 into 2, back in, 1 band, go through, 1 into 2, done. So as soon as you get to this point, sorry if I went kind of a little bit quick, but here I have it right here, and you're going to be using this band that we've just ended on as the next stitch marker. So you're going to pull off your stitch marker from the green band and put it back onto the pink band like this. So that is basically how you increase, and now we can move on to how you decrease. Alrighty guys, so now we can move on to how to decrease our design here. And so as we go here, we're going to just put our hook just like how we left it, but basically decreasing is getting 1 slip knot into 2 stitches. So we're basically eliminating 1 stitch by conjoining 2 stitches or 2 chains. So basically how we do that is you're going to grab your hook, you're going to pull it through, and we're going to be doing only 1 band in each. So if we just kind of knock these both and just focus on these first 2 stitches from the stitch on our hook, we're going to be only going through the first side. So because this is a V, we're just going to be going through the first line of the V. So just try to follow me here. The first line of the V, go through with your hook. Not going through all of them, just this first one. Grab your other hook, and we're going to be going through the second side of this stitch, of the next stitch. So as again, we're going to be going through this stitch, this side of the stitch, the first stitch, and this side of the second stitch, so they're opposite. So again, grab your hook, go through the first line of the first V, and then with your other hook, go through the second line of the second V with your hook. So now we have 2 bands as we usually would if we're going through 1 stitch. But grab your band, go through, we're going to slip knot these 2 bands, pull it back on our hook, and we're going to slip knot it through the 2 bands, because again it's 1 into 2. As you can see, we've kind of conjoined 2 stitches into 1, and that's basically how you do a decrease. So we're going to do that one more time just to show you guys. I'm not going to go all the way around, but I'm just going to simply show you one more time. So with 1 band and 1 hook, go through, so focusing on these 2 stitches right here. I'm going to go through this first stitch, the first line of the first stitch, and the second line of the second stitch, so they're opposite. Go through 1 band, first stitch, maneuver your hook to go through the second stitch of the second line. So just remember, first stitch, first line, second stitch, second line. Grab your band, pull it on, and just like we were doing 1 stitch, I'm going to grab the 2 stitches and slip knot it up. Put it back on your hook. Remember, 1 into 2. 1 into the 2 bands. So as you can see, we've just made only 2 slip knots, 2 stitches in 4 stitches. And this is when you can see it kind of starts to curve up, and that's obviously when you can see that it's decreasing because it's getting smaller, so it's curving up onto itself. So that's basically how you decrease. Alrighty guys, so I hope that kind of made a little bit more sense. I'm going to be talking about the last 2 sections of this video, which is how to practice and what designs I recommend you guys to make, because they were my first designs that I made as well, which really helped me. So my number 1 tutorial is right here. You guys can click it in the iCard That's basically how to make the LOOMIGURMI Pokeball right here. So again, I just want to show you guys a comparison real quick. So this is my Pokeball I made first, and as you can see, it's very not very good, but it's obviously a work in progress, and this was my first ever LOOMIGURMI design, so it's just to show you that you don't have to get it perfect straight up, and I've really learned a lot since making this Pokeball, because as soon as I made it straight after, literally like straight after in the same day, I was able to make from this to this. It's such a really simple design because it's just a ball. So a lot of these stuff I've talked about here can only do so much because you guys really should practice. So of course, some other practicing tips is just to literally try to practice as much as possible. Even if you're just practicing the magic ring over and over again, make sure you just try to practice and stay consistent with your practicing and your looming. That's basically all the advice I can give you. But if you are really struggling and you can't really seem to get it right, I really recommend crocheting. So yeah, if you're really struggling, make sure you check out crocheting, and that will really help you to practice. So now that brings us to the end of the video. I hope this helped you in any way possible. If it was a little bit confusing, make sure you re-watch and just revisit the sections of the video which you struggled most with. But I'm sure a lot of you guys were able to do it because you are amazing loomers, and you surely were able to at least understand a little bit better LOOMIGURMI. Make sure you keep looming and also subscribe to my channel for more looming videos. And I hope you guys have a great day. Bye!